Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Pranam.
Pranams. Okay. 34 ಇವತ್ತು. Today 34, right?
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay, we'll start. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayate Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavate Uttamasloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistaki Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangam Langayate Girim Yatkripatamaham Vande Shri Gurum Dinatarinam Chaitanyamishwaram Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurum Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nitinamine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarini Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Om Tassat. Hare Krishna. Welcome you all for Bhagavatam study. So it's a wonderful opportunity for all of us to Monday to Thursday, every day 9 to 9:30. So let's continue our discussion. Canto 1, Chapter 9, Bhishma Deva is passing away. The Sloka 34. Who is going to read?
I am going to read Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Canto 1, Chapter 9, Text 34. Yudhi Turagarajo Vidumra Vishwak Hacha Lulita Shramavāri Alankritasye Mama Nishita Sarai Vibhidyamana Vachi Vilasa Kavache Astu Krishna Atma. Translation. On the battlefield where Sri Krishna attended Arjuna out of friendship, the flowing hair of Lord Krishna turned ashen due to the dust raised by the hoofs of the horses. And because of his labor, beads of sweat wetted his face. All these decorations, intensified by the wounds dealt by my sharp arrows, were enjoyed by him. Let my mind thus go unto Sri Krishna. Purport. The Lord is the absolute form of eternity, bliss, and knowledge. As such, transcendental loving service to the Lord in one of the 5 principal relations, namely Shanta, Dasya, Shakya, Vatsalya, and Madhurya, that is, neutrality, servitorship, fraternity, filial affection, and conjugal love, is graciously accepted by the Lord when offered to the Lord in genuine love and affection. Sri Bhishma Deva is a great devotee of the Lord in the relation of servitorship. Thus, his throwing of sharp arrows at the transcendental body of the Lord is as good as the worship of another devotee who throws soft roses upon him. It appears that Bhishma Deva is repenting the actions he committed against the person of the Lord. But factually, the Lord's body was not at all pain. Due to his transcendental existence, his body is not matter. Both he himself and his body are complete spiritual identity. Spirit is never pierced, burnt, dried, moistened, etc. This is vividly explained in the Bhagavad Gita. So also it is stated in the Skanda Purana. It is said there that spirit is always uncontaminated and indestructible. It cannot be distressed, nor can it be dried up. When Lord Vishnu in his incarnation appears before us, he seemed to be like one of the conditioned souls, materially engaged, just to bewilder the Asuras or the non-believers, who are always alert to kill the Lord, even from the very beginning of his appearance. Kamsa wanted to kill Krishna and Ravana wanted to kill Rama because foolishly they were unaware of the fact that the Lord is never killed, for the spirit is never annihilated. Therefore, Bhishmadeva's piercing of the body of Lord Krishna is a sort of bewildering problem for the non-devotee atheist, but those who are devotees or liberated souls are not bewildered. Bhishmadeva appreciated the all merciful attitude of the Lord because he did not leave Arjuna alone, although he was disturbed by the sharpened arrows of Bhishmadeva, nor was he reluctant to come before Bhishma's deathbed, even though he was ill treated by him on the battlefield. Bhishma's repentance and the Lord's merciful attitude are both unique in this picture. Sri Vishwanatha Chakravarti Thakura, a great acharya and devotee in the humor of conjugal love with the Lord, remarks very saliently in this regard. He says that the wounds created on the body of the Lord by the sharpened arrows of Bhishmadeva were as pleasing to the Lord as the biting of a fiancé who bites the Lord's body, directed and by a strong sense of sex desire. Such biting by the opposite sex is never taken as a sign of enmity, even if there is a wound on the body. Therefore, the fighting as an exchange of transcendental pleasure between the Lord and his pure devotee, Sri Bhishmadeva, was not at all mundane. Besides that, since the Lord's body and the Lord are identical, there was no possibility of wounds in the absolute body. The apparent wounds caused by the sharpened arrows are misleading to the common man, but one who has a little absolute knowledge can understand the transcendental exchange in the chivalrous relation. The Lord was perfectly happy with the wounds caused by the sharpened arrows of Bhishmadeva. The word Vibhidyamana is significant because the Lord's skin is not different from the Lord. Because our skin is different from our soul, in our case, the word Vibhidyamana or being bruised and cut would have been quite suitable. Transcendental bliss is of different varieties, and the variety of activities in the mundane world is but a perverted reflection of transcendental bliss. Because everything in the mundane world is qualitatively mundane, it is full of inebrities, whereas in the absolute realm, because everything is of the same absolute nature, there are varieties of enjoyment without inebriety. The Lord enjoyed the wounds created by his great devotee Bhishmadeva, and because Bhishmadeva is a devotee in the chivalrous relation, he fixes up his mind on Krishna in that wounded condition. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. The Bhishma Deva is glorifying Sri Krishna. He is saying that the battlefield where Krishna attended to Arjuna out of his friendship. So Bhishma Deva is saying Krishna is always very close to Arjuna. He wanted to serve Arjuna in whatever possible way as a friendship. And many times he was not just a friend, he was servant. He was chariot driver. All respect, he was serving Krishna, serving Arjuna. So, and here Bhishma Dev is talking about how Krishna's body was, because of the ashes, because of the dust, and the warfield, the various horses running here and there, how the body of the Supreme Lord is being dusted. And more than that, he's talking about the sharp arrows that Bhishma threw. It wounded Krishna's body. But Krishna took it as a very, very, what do you call, the loving affection. Prabhupada compares this as any worship of any Lord, any devotee with the flower. Suppose we are worshipping the Lord, throwing a lotus flower or rose flower. That's how the Lord took it, as the sharp arrows of Bhishmadev. This is how Bhishmadev is understanding And later in the Prabhupada also explains that this wounds Krishna, of course, Krishna's body and Krishna himself, there is no difference. Prabhupada also explained that Krishna's skin and himself, there is no difference. And this wounds, Prabhupada compares in very, very mundane comparison, like husband, wife, or lovers, the boy and girl. When out of the strong sex desire, they bite each other. That biting, even though it can create wound, they don't consider as enmity. So that is a kind of a very mundane example Prabhupada gives here. So Bhishmadev, even though he threw so many arrows, he was fully surrendered to Krishna. He was under full servitorship to Krishna. So Krishna also reciprocated the same way. Krishna never taken revenge against Bhishmadev, but only when Arjuna was damaged, Arjuna was wounded badly, Krishna did not tolerate. He immediately jumped out of the chariot, took the chariot wheel, the broken chariot wheel, and started running towards Bhishma, saying that I'll kill you now, because he may get wounded so many times, he may get insulted, but he doesn't care. But his devotee, happens to anything to his devotee, he will not tolerate. This is a lesson Krishna gives here. Prabhupada says that here the, the spirit is always uncontaminated and indestructible. It cannot be distressed and nor can be dried up. So he's talking about the Atma. Krishna and Atma, there is no difference. Paramatma and Krishna's body, there is no difference. Whereas for us, the body and Atma is different. I'm not this body. I'm, Atma. That's the understanding. Whereas Krishna, there is no difference. The both are same. Prabhupada also says, so Kamsa wanted to kill Krishna and Ravana wanted to kill Rama because foolishly they were unaware the fact that Lord is never can be killed. Spirit is never annihilated. So not only Lord, even Atma also cannot be killed. So we are also eternal. We are also cannot be killed. What is killed is only this body. What is destroyed is only body, not Atma. So Bhishmadev appreciated all the merciful attitude of the Lord because he did not leave Arjuna alone. So this is the another great quality of Lord. He is always merciful to his devotees. Prabhupada writes that he never left Arjuna alone. He was always with Arjuna. Now, it's not only with Arjuna, he is there with every living entity. He, as a Paramatma, he goes into every living entity. Even worst, like the stool, the worm in the stool, there also Paramatma goes. Atma and Paramatma is always there. So Krishna never leaves any Atma for that matter. So that's why he says, Bhoktaranjapa Sarvaloka Maheshwara, Suhradam Sarvabhutanam Jnatum Shanti Rachati. I am the greatest, the Suhad, greatest, dearest friend. So here the Lord's mercy, Lord is so merciful that he somehow or other, he wants all the living entities who are gone away from Krishna to come back. So he does all this drama or all these things somehow attract the fallen souls come back to him. So it's up to us, up to me, how much I'm get attracted to Krishna, how much I'm able to go back to him. It's up to me. So Krishna is so merciful. So some places Acharya is explaining what is mercy. Mercy is something which I don't deserve. I'm such a sinful person. Our millions of life have done so much sin. So because of some devotees' mercy and Srila Prabhupada's mercy and my Gurudev mercy, I got this connection with the Krishna. So they are all merciful, but I'm the only one ungrateful person. So because of that ungratefulness of mine, I'm not able to progress. Whereas Krishna is always merciful. So how Krishna does all kind of activities, the leelas, so that the fallen souls get attracted. So Prabhupada also explains here, one who has a little absolute knowledge can understand the transcendental exchange in the chivalrous relationship. The fighting relation with the Bhishma and Krishna, because that's the way the devotees give a pleasure. We can see that in Jaya Vijaya pastimes. like the Kumaras, the four Kumaras, Brahma's sons, Sanata, Sanandana, Sanak. So they reached the seventh gate of Vaikunta. Jaya Vijaya, the gatekeepers, they stopped. So naturally, when the gatekeeper stopped, so Kumaras got angry. They were actually in the very child form, because when they appeared, the Brahmaji's the purpose of bringing them is that to create a progeny. But when Brahmaji asked them to create a progeny, they said, no, we don't want to get into Grahastha we don't get married, we don't get entangled. So they remained as Kumaras only, because they thought, if I become big only, get married, so I'll become child only. I will not grow. All four of them remained like. So they wanted to meet Lord Vishnu. They came to Vaikunta. They crossed all the 6 gates. On 7th gate, Jaya Vijaya stopped. So the Kumaras got angry. How come the imposters, the people here, stop us meeting with Lord Vishnu? So they wanted to curse. So there appears Lord Vishnu. Lord Vishnu pacifies both. And Lord Vishnu says, it's actually my mistake, because my servants made a mistake, means I'm responsible. On behalf of Jaya Vijaya, Lord Vishnu seeks forgiveness from poor Kumara. But Acharyas explain there is another reason why Jaya Vijaya stopped. So before this, Jaya Vijaya was thinking, Lord can enjoy all kind of rasas. He can have all the rasas. Prabhupada talks about all the 5 rasas here. And beyond that, there are so many other rasas. But one of the rasa, Lord is not able to enjoy. That is fighting, chivalrous rasa. With whom Lord can fight? In Vaikunta or Golok Vrindavan, with whom Lord can fight? So Jaya Vijay thought, yes, we should give that pleasure to the Lord. So to give a pleasure to the Lord, to fight, they should be equal. At least they should have some power. Not equal. They cannot be equal, but it is some power. So they had the desire. The Lord fulfilled that desire. The Kumaras cursed, and they were given options, either 7 life of Devatas or 3 lives of demons. So immediately they opted for demons, because they wanted to come back to Lord Vishnu as early as possible. So that's the first Hiranyaksha, Hiranyakashipu. Later Ravana and Kumbhakarna, and Shishupal and Dantavakra. Different yugas, Jaya Vijaya appeared. The point is that their only purpose was that to give pleasure to the Lord. So you may think that Hiranyakashipu fought with the Lord Narasimha, or Hiranyaksha fought with the Varaha, or Ravana fought with the Lord Rama, or Shishupala and Dantavakra fought with the Lord Krishna. Because this is not fight. They were giving a chivalrous rasa to the Lord, so that Lord can enjoy the fighting spirit. So Prabhupada finally says that because Bhishmadev is a devotee in the chivalrous relationship, he fixes up his mind on Krishna, that wounded the condition, in that wounded condition. Srila Vishnu Chakra Thakura writes, having spoken of Krishna's face surrounded by locks of hair, Bhishma cannot give up the sweetness of the Lord's face, the beautiful face, the completely makaranda coming out of beauty of the Supreme Lord. So in Prabhupada, in the first sentence writes here, he is Satchidananda Vigraha. He is eternity, bliss, and knowledge. Full, everything is full. And that, again, Vishnu Chakra Thakur writes that, again he describes the more detail. The face is decorated with the hair thrown all about because of the speed of the chariot, colored with the dust raised by the horse. Even in the what is not beautiful, beauty can be found. The face is decorated with the perspiration arising from effort. Thus, this indicates Krishna's effort because of his affection for Arjuna. So, Vishnu Chakra Thakur writes how Krishna puts his effort, how much he works for the pleasure of his devotee. Krishna's skin was pierced by the Bhishma's sharp arrows. Just as a man involved in the love derives happiness from the bite marks of bold lover, Krishna, almost courageous warrior, the mood of fighting derived pleasure from my strength in the form of wounds from my arrows. One should not think that I even overcome by the mood of fighting with the Krishna. This is Vishnu Chakravarti writes on behalf of Bhishma Dev. Bhishma Dev is saying this. One should not think that I even overcome by the mood of fighting with the Krishna was ever devoid of prema. So he's saying his fighting is always with the prema. Krishna and the servant as always in the love. And further say, similarly, the woman who inflicts deep wounds upon her beloved, dearer than millions of her lives, with her nails and teeth during the battle of love, cannot be said to be the devoid of love for him. Krishna's skin was not really pierced because he was wearing an armor which shone brightly. It means that arrow slightly pierced the armor. Atma means mind. So the essence of this sloka is that serving Krishna out of love is the topmost. That doesn't mean that we should harm Krishna. We should not take it a misunderstanding. But Bhishma's level is different. Bhishma was, even though fighting against Krishna, actually he is doing favor to Krishna because this is the purpose of Krishna. Krishna wanted this to happen. That's why he's doing this service. So Bhishma was never against the Lord. He was always with the Lord. So with this, I move on to the next sloka, 35. Let's go and read.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Please.
Text 35. Sapadish Saki Vacho Nisamya Madhye Nija Parayor Balayoratam Niveshya Stitavati Para Sainik Ayu Akshana Sritavati Partha Sake Ratir Mamastu. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. In obedience to the command of his friend, Lord Shri Krishna entered the arena of the battlefield of Kurukshetra between the soldiers of Arjuna and Duryodhana, and while he shortened the life spans of the opposite party by his merciful glance. This was done simply by his looking at the enemy. Let my mind be fixed upon that Krishna. Purport. In Bhagavad Gita 1.21 to 25, Arjuna ordered the infallible Lord Shri Krishna to place his chariot between the phalanxes of the soldiers. He asked him to stay there until he had finished observing the enemies he had to face in the battle. When the Lord was so asked, he at once did so, just like an order carrier. And the Lord pointed out all the important men on the opposite side, saying, here is Bhishma, here is Drona, and so on. The Lord, being the supreme living being, is never the order supplier or order carrier of anyone, whoever he may be. But out of his causeless mercy and affection for his pure devotees, sometimes he carries out the order of the devotee like an awaiting servant. By executing the order of a devotee, the Lord becomes pleased, as a father is pleased to carry out the order of his small child. This is possible only out of pure transcendental love between the Lord and his devotees, and Bhishma Deva was quite aware of this fact. He therefore addressed the Lord as the friend of Arjuna. The Lord diminished the duration of life of the opposite party by his merciful glance. It is said that all the fighters who assembled on the battlefield of Kurukshetra attained salvation by personally seeing the Lord at the time of death. Therefore, his diminishing the duration of life of Arjuna's enemy does not mean that he was partial to the cause of Arjuna. Factually, he was merciful to the opposite party because they would not have attained salvation by dying at home in the ordinary course of life. Here was a chance to see the Lord at the time of death and thus attain salvation from material life. Therefore, the Lord is all good, and whatever he does is for everyone's good. Apparently, it was for the victory of Arjuna, his intimate friend, but factually, it was for the good of Arjuna's enemies. Such are the transcendental activities of the Lord, and whoever understands this also gets salvation after quitting his material body. The Lord does no wrong in any circumstance because he is absolute, all good at all times. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Further, Bhishmadeva is saying, in obedience to the command of his friend. So we are read in Bhagavad Gita how Arjuna, after reaching the battlefield, he tells to Krishna, Krishna, hey Vasudeva, please take my chariot in the midst of the army. I want to see who are the people opposite who are ready to kill or ready to die. So Krishna simply takes a chariot there. And of course, he says that, please see, behold, the great warriors other side, Bhishma, Drona, Karna, and Duryodhana. Like that, he explains. So Arjuna, and there's a discussion happens. So the point here, Bhishma Deva bringing that Krishna just simply took the order of Arjuna and worked. He did not even ask, did not even question, because he purely loves his devotees. And similarly, Arjuna also purely loves his Krishna. So Prabhupada writes that here, when the Lord was so asked, he at once did just as like order carrier. But what happens in our case? We also, go to the temple or go in front of the Lord, ask. We want to do business. We give one coconut, one banana, and we want Mercedes car. Or we give 10 rupees, we want a big promotion. So we are trying to do business with the Lord. But Arjuna was not trying to do business with the Lord. And those who are doing business, Krishna will not reciprocate. So we want to offer pure love to Krishna, and there Krishna reciprocates. Krishna says, how much love and how much you come near to me, I will come, so extend. So that's why Krishna's love is topmost. Prabhupada says that being the supreme living being, he never the order supplier or the order carrier for anyone. He is purely independent. He is a Swarata. He is Abhijna. He is beyond anybody's control. He is 100% independent. But he does the servant job. He does the order carrier's job. Prabhupada says that Lord diminished the duration of life of the opposite party. In the Bhishma Deva also says, so how did Lord reduced? Yes, of course, those who come in the battlefield, they all died. But how they reduced the life? Because just by seeing the beautiful form of Krishna, they all went back to Krishna. They went to Goloka. They got salvation. Otherwise, if they died anywhere else, they would have taken another so many lives. So their duration of life in the material world is reduced just because of the presence of Krishna. That's the advantage. So generally said that those who die in the battlefield, they get heaven. But here, they not got heaven. They got the spiritual world because they were seeing the beautiful form of Krishna. That's why Prabhupada says that even Bhishma Dev is more fortunate than Arjuna, because Arjuna was standing behind Krishna fighting. He never could see the beautiful form of Krishna. Whereas Bhishma Dev, who was fighting against Pandavas, he could see the beautiful form of Krishna. That's why Bhishma Dev is more fortunate. Prabhupada says, personally seeing the Lord at the time of death is our real goal. Antakale cha mame kasman muktva kalevaram. Krishna says that one who can remember me at the time of death, they will come to my abode. So we have to see the form of the Supreme Lord. That's why at home also we should always keep the beautiful form of Sri Radha Krishna, so that anytime if anything happens, we are able to see the Supreme Lord form and go back to him. Prabhupada says, factually, he was merciful to the opposite party because they would not have been attained the salvation by dying at home. So that is the most merciful act of Krishna. finally Srila Prabhupada is his intimate friend, but factually it was for good of Arjuna's enemy. Even though whatever Krishna did for Arjuna, the real benefactor was the opposite. That's why Acharya is saying Krishna's killing and Krishna's protecting both are same. By Krishna's killing Shishupala, Shishupala's Atma entered the body of Krishna. By killing and protecting, both are same. By both activity, he is giving a pleasure, he is giving liberation to the soul. Srila Vishnu Chakravarti writes here, and he immediately followed Arjuna's order. Senayor upayor madhye ratam sthapaya me achyuta yavad etha nirikshe aham yuddha kaman avastithan. Actually, oh Achyuta, please station my chariot between the two armies so I can view the commencement of the war. Those at the commencement of war, those who are situated in the desire to fight and see my companions in the battle just by his glance. So Krishna's glance is so potent. Krishna's beautiful glance, Akshana, showing Arjuna. So how Krishna's glance can, that beautiful smile can relieve all the sinful reactions of any jiva. That's why the ISKCON temple we see all the deities are dressed up nicely. They are just beautiful smile. That smile can relieve all our sins, all our problems forever. With this, I'll stop here. Devotees can share their comments or questions or realization. Please go ahead. Anybody want to start? Otherwise, go in alphabetic order. Okay, we'll start with Varsha Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. So, I mean, what to say today? I mean, Bhishma Deva was never against Krishna. Like how you said, how Jaya Vijaya took avatar to give entertainment to Krishna. Similarly, Krishna wanted Bhishma to fight against him. It's not him. And Krishna was so merciful that he gave a chance for the opposite party in the Mahabharata also to see his, what do we say? To see him wonderfully and gave them chance for the mukti and all those things. Prabhuji, that's what I learned today. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Yeah, Sumitru. Sumitru over there. No.
Yes,
Okay.
Prabhuji.
Okay, Hare Krishna.
Krishna. So, yeah, in the first verse, it is told like the Lord is absolute, like eternity, bliss, and knowledge, Sachidanand, and he accepts the loving service from his devotees in various relationships like Shantarasya, Dasarasya, Sakhya, Madhurya, and Vatsalya. So, Bhishma Deva actually, he's a devotee in the relationship of servitorship. Demonstrate this through his actions through battle, like in a Veer Ras, because Lord wants to have that rasa sometimes. So, Bhishma Deva is firing his arrows as a form of worship towards the Lord. And despite the violence we see in the actions of Bhishma Deva, the Lord's body is not made up of material stuff. So it's a transcendental body. So it remains unaffected as it is spiritual and it cannot be harmed. But the wounds are like that's a matter of perspective for the non-devotees. They will think, okay, the Lord's body, the blood is coming. But for the devotees, they represent a unique exchange of love and devotion by Bhishma Deva. And Bhishma Deva is repenting. That reveals his deep appreciation for the Lord's mercy, especially since the Lord chose to be present at his last time, despite being the harm he had caused. So that relationship is transcendental. So it's it's very difficult to understand that. So even pain can become a form of affection in the spiritual realm. So that is the thing. And in the second one, it is about the Arjuna and Krishna, like how Arjuna requested him to place his chariot between the army. So Krishna very obediently fulfilled that, and because he is he's in a role of a loving servant to his devotee. So that shows like how a devotee's order is very deep rooted in the Lord's heart. So, and about the Krishna's glance upon the opposite warriors, it not only diminishes their lifespan but also grants them the opportunity for salvation. So, because they can see the Lord at the time of death. So, this is also Krishna's mercy to them. So, so that tells like Lord is merciful even to the non-devotees as well. So, yeah, Prabhu, that's it from
Hare
my side.
Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu. Kumar Shankar, Prabhu. Anything?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Prabhuji.
Here I can see Lord is so merciful and he is impartial. So even to the opposite party, he gives the liberation and the salvation. So little bit endeavor also brings good fruitful things. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Sridevi Mataji. Anything?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandot Pranams.
Mataji.
Lord Krishna never leaves his devotees alone at any time. So he did not leave Arjuna alone. Though he was disturbed by the sharpened arrows of Bhishma Deva, he did not refuse to come to Bhishma's deathbed, even though he was ill-treated by him on the battlefield, because Bhishma is also a great devotee of the Lord. Arjuna ordered Krishna to place the chariot between phalanxes of the soldiers because he wants to see the people with whom he is fighting with. Lord immediately accepts because Lord, out of causeless mercy and affection for his pure devotees. So Prabhupada says that he carries out the order of a devotee like a waiting servant. So Bhishma Deva also, he was quite aware of this. And Lord, he was merciful to the opposite party because they would not have attained salvation by dying at home in the ordinary course of life. So here was a chance to see the Lord at the time of the death and thus attain salvation from material life. That's what, Prabhuji. Hare
Thank
Krishna.
you. Thank you. Shruti Mataji. Anything you want to add? Sheila Mataji.
I think Prabhuji, nothing.
Okay. Sheila Mataji. Anything? Okay. Ramesh Prabhu. Lakshmi Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. So he is so merciful. God is so merciful that we should serve Krishna out of love. That is our most important duty, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Neeraj Mataji. Want to say anything?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Mataji.
Krishna is everywhere. When we
Mhm.
get thought of fighting, we should remind Krishna so that we may get calm and suppress fight thought. Because if we fight indirectly, our health is becoming low due to angry, high BP and all. Karma will take care of that.
Hmm.
So when we are purely loving Krishna, Bhakti, he will definitely fulfill our desires instead of donating and asking a result. So that is what I understood today, Prabhuji. Hare
Thank
Krishna.
you. Thank you. Mariappan Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Krishna is not only friend of Arjuna, but served as a driver of his chariot. Even though Krishna never expressed enmity on Bhishma Deva, when Arjuna is about to be injured, Krishna came immediately to protect Arjuna. So from this we can understand at any point of time, devotees will not be abandoned.
Yeah.
Devotees will be completely protected at all situations and circumstances. Krishna is highly merciful and perform all kinds of leelas to get attracted the souls attracted towards him and go back to Godhead in all possible ways. He tries to attract and enable us to go back to Godhead. And how much of deep efforts are taken by Lord are highlighted in this text. he makes all possible efforts to support the souls, pure devotees, and I must try to understand the transcendental relationship of Krishna and Bhishma Deva, highly transcendental relationship, and the relationship should be achieved by each and every soul in the same manner. We should also develop my love and affection towards Lord. And the pure devotees with selfless ambitions are honored by Krishna, whereas Krishna's and Krishna's action are favorable to each and every soul, and that each and every soul must understand in whatever the actions are taken by Krishna, it is completely in favor of the souls. It may, from the outward look, it may look like Krishna is acting contrary to the intentions of the soul, but it is always in favor of the soul. That I must understand always. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mahaprabhuji. Yes, Archana Mataji, say anything?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. No, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Okay, Asha Mataji.
The Supreme is all merciful. He is merciful to everyone. And I think I understood this right, Prabhuji. I just want to know. He is merciful to his devotees a little more. He is merciful to all. Even in the war of Kurukshetra, some were dying, but they were dying in front of Krishna. That means Krishna is merciful to them as well. So it says that Krishna is merciful to everyone, a little more maybe to his devotees. Am I right? I think I understood that right.
Yeah. He is equal to everyone, but he says that I'm special to my devotees.
Yes.
So Prabhupada gives example. Suppose parents got two kids, two sons, maybe. Both sons they will equally love, but one son is so obedient. So everything what a parents the son does, they will have a little special, attraction for that son who was so obedient. So like that, but they will take care of both. Similarly, Krishna takes care of even demons also. But for devotees, he has got a special attraction. So that's a point.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Murali Prabhu has written, fight between Krishna and Sugriva indicates that we have to accept the pains we are experiencing in the material world as it's by the Lord. We are tossed up and down in material world. We need to enjoy the pain. The fight between Krishna and Sugriva indicates, okay, the same. Okay. Yeah, that's true. The material world is dukkha lama shashvatam. It's full of miseries. So it's only, Prabhupada says, best use of bad bargain. This place is, the worst, but at least make best use of it and get out of this, go back. That's what Prabhupada says. So we should also try to get out of this place because this place is not meant for gentlemen. Okay, so, and this Wednesday onwards, Damodar month is starting, requesting everybody to offer ghee lamp to Lord Damodara morning and evening. It's possible sing Damodarastakam. If not sing, at least play the recording of Damodarastakam. Or if cannot, at least play Hare Krishna mantra, offer ghee lamp. And possible, please, or not possible, please, keep a program in your house. Call your friends, relatives, so that everybody gets the benefit of Damodar month. Because Damodar month is so special, so dear to Krishna. Whatever little service we do, Krishna showers 1,000 times benefits. So requesting all of you, arrange a Damodar program in your house. If you need more details, please contact us. We can organize. This will be no expenses, just 45 minutes to 1 hour program. But it is so special, so auspicious. to invite Krishna to your house. Hare Krishna. With this, I'll stop here. Vancha kalpatarubhyasya kripa sindhubhyacha patitana pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Ananta koti Vaishnav vrinda ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srila Gurudev ki jai. Gaura Prabhupada.